Hey everyone. Now, as you probably know, I've been using a Raspberry Pi similar to this as my network router for a few years now. And the way I do it with a single port is I just use a tagged VLAN for the WAN interface and break that out on the switch as an access port that goes off to the internet. But I recently got fiber installed with a gigabit download, and that single interface wasn't enough now to do full throughput of gig down going in and then out of the same interface. So I went online to AliExpress and I bought this thing. So I bought this little computer here so I could run Debian on it because it's got two interfaces here. But it didn't quite work, and I'll show you what happened. Actually, I'll show you what I got. I've got the computer here with, as I said, a couple of network interfaces and the power adapter. Now, it said select a country for the power, so I said Australia. And it's come with this thing here, which, you know, they make these so you can put whatever country you want on here. What they've done is they've given me this one here with a European adapter, get on there, right, and just thrown in one of these things here to go into the wall here. One of the problems is, though, that thing is just loose as hell. It doesn't really stick in there. So what I had to do, that's because these are really thin, like they're too thin really for that to grip. So I've got a double adapter here, which seemed to grip it better. So I ended up with this monstrosity. Okay, so that was a power adapter. So anyway, when I plugged it in, the first time I turned it on, it did have some sort of Windows thing on there, but the screen came up all broken. You can see here it's stuck at the boot phase. I'll just show you some video footage of what was actually happening. It's on and off. As you can see now, it's stuck on this boot thing here. So there you go. I've just turned it on and you get that crap on the screen. Now it's just, well, I was going to say it reset, but it hasn't shut down. So if I press the power button, it's doing nothing. And I thought, nah, that can't be broken. It's brand new. And, you know, nice fresh looking thing. But as it turns out, it is. Sometimes it managed to stay up a little bit. You can see I installed Linux there, but you can see the crap on the screen, and that's not going to respond to any keyboard. It's frozen, and something's really wrong with it, as you can see. So what I did first, I mean, there isn't much to this. I just took the cover off and reseated the solid state drive and the memory, just in case it got, you know, bumped loose on its travels from China to here. But that didn't do anything. So following that, this dodgy power supply, I found a new one. It's 12 volts, 3 amps. And I've got another one here, 12 volts. And I put this in, and it went well overnight. And I thought, oh, okay, now it's rock solid. It must have been the power supply, because, you know, dodgy power creates lots of problems with electronics. But it was still doing it. It turns out it was still having some resets after that. It just had a bit of a good run, because it was very random when it happens. So anyway, it wasn't the power, and I guess it wasn't the reseating of it. Now, it didn't stop just yet. I checked the memory with a memory test live boot thing, and that checked out fine. It just smashes the memory in all locations with lots of different stuff, and it turned out fine. So it does look like it's actually knackered. Now, when I went to buy this thing from AliExpress, I went to make an account, and it said I already had one, and it turns out I bought something from them 6 years ago that I'd forgotten about, and it was a USB network adapter similar to this, but with a micro USB connector on the end. And I remember it now because I bought 5 of them and they all had the same MAC address, which made it pretty useless. So that's probably why I decided not to go with them, but I forgot about that until now. So I've bought this thing here and it doesn't work, but I've come to realize that AliExpress doesn't seem very trustworthy from my experience anyway, which is only 2 for 2, but that's 100% failure rate. So anyway, that's where I am with them. But what I'm going to do now, or what I have done, is I've gone back to the Raspberry Pi with its single interface. And the reason why it will do is because I'm going to lower my internet speed. I don't need a gigabit down. I can't really use that anyway because there's only me using it, and most servers don't serve that speed anyway. So it was a bit overkill, but that was the reason I got the one with the dual NICs, so I could you know, have better throughput than just one. Thing is, I did a test on this while it was briefly working, and the throughput wasn't as good as the Palo Alto. So I've been running a Palo Alto for dual interfaces, but the Palo Alto is not as versatile as having my own Linux box. So I've gone back to the Raspberry Pi. That's my experience with AliExpress, and this is a failure for this computer. And that's what I've been up to lately. Till next time, take it easy.